Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma Winter. Our heroes today are going to be PanzerGrenadierAngreifen, playing as the OKW forces in the blue. And his opponent is going to be none other than Jove, playing as the US forces in the red. This is a bit of an older game at this point, and I believe Mr. Sotko casted it, but I wanted to cast it anyways, and yeah. I didn't get a chance to get any game out yesterday, like I had said, and well, I didn't also have time today to look through games to find something to cast, and since I had seen this game back when it was posted, I figured, well, I either don't cast anything, simply because this one's been casted before, or I just cast this game and toss it on top, and at least we have something, so I figured may as well have something rather than nothing, right? So sorry for that if you've already seen it, but, well, hopefully it'll still be a good one. Anyways, Angreifen with his Volksgrens moving up here on top of these rifles. Rifles pushing forward. Storm Pioneer Squad putting itself inside that house, popping out as it engages the Rifle Squad down to 3 men. Going to be taking quite a beating here as it runs back down to 1 man, almost gets taken out. Volksgrenadier is going to be trying their volley, but the rifle manages to run away fast enough and get itself back to the base. But a heavy blow early on there for Jove as he loses quite a lot of manpower there on that one rifle squad and did not really inflict that much damage. He did a lot of health damage on these squads, but, you know, only 1 loss on that Volksgren squad, and the Storm Pios are still 4 men strong. They do end up having to retreat there at that point, which is gonna suck for them, but, you know, still, not that big a deal. Didn't lose the squad, so the outcome is not really that significant. Volksgrenadiers, I'm not Volksgrenadier, Kugelwagen up in the north, capping around, gonna be getting itself right behind those rifles. We do have the Volksgrenadier squad coming up on the flank, gonna get themselves right on top of the rifles through the heavy cover. The Kugelwagen gonna be pushing them around, putting them on the wrong side of that heavy cover so the Volksgrens can have at it and do as much damage as they want to the rifles. The rifles gonna be repositioning themselves right on top of the Volksgrenadier squad to try and get a little bit of cover against the Kugelwagen, but the Kugelwagen is just tearing them apart. Volksgrenadier squad, though, decides that it's had enough. Down to 2 men, and with a second rifle squad on top of it, it is, of course, a very, very reasonable conclusion for it to take. We do see Doctrine selection for both players. We see Angreifen going for the Breakthrough Doctrine, and then we see Jove going for the Heavy Cavalry Company, so we'll probably be seeing a Pershing later on in the game. However, for Angreifen, we do see him calling in the Sturmofficer to start with. So he has 2 Volks and a Sturmofficer on the field now, so adding a little bit on top of that. So what did this thing have? I forgot.
The enemy has cut our supply chain. Our resource sector has been isolated.
Oh, interesting. I haven't seen this used quite a lot. You know, you just most of the time see it for the Fusiliers and the Yak Tiger. But it's a nice little ability there where it makes a unit more vulnerable, but it improves its damage output because it is more vulnerable. So nice little trade-off there that isn't completely one-sided. Anyways, down south, Volksgrenadier squad getting surrounded by rifles and rear echelons. Forced to retreat down to 2 men. The rifle squad, though, is down to 2 men itself, so it is relatively fragile here against the Kugelwagen. The Kugelwagen, however, at range will take a while to fight here, and the fuel point does get captured. The rifle squad retreats. Kugelwagen pushes forward, but only gets shot up a little bit there by the rear echelon squad, so needs to move back a little bit. We see Storm Piles laying down some mines, shoe mines, in the middle of the road, coming up to protect and repair the Kugelwagen as it caps. It has taken quite a bit of damage, so it needs a little bit of tender love there. Volksgrenadier squad down to 2 men, back at base, needing some reinforcements and some heals. We see Jove also having quite a bit of injured infantry on the field. Captain is now on the field, utilizing its ability to call in something rather quick, and he utilizes that in order to get a pack howitzer out on the field very quickly. So not a bad decision there. Pretty cool little maneuver there. Doesn't exactly need the captain right now out on the field. Yeah, the cool wagon can easily die to it, but you know, gonna be hard for it to catch it, so may as well utilize its abilities as efficiently as possible. And once he's done building, which you know we saw, goes ahead and moves the captain out into the field. So you know, works out pretty well. Shots flying, trying to get some hits there on that Kubelwagen. Kubelwagen down to half health, needs to move the hell out of the way, and it will as the Storm Piles capture the south, and this guy just moves the hell out of there, trying to give the captain squad a wide berth. And we see Volksgrenadiers up in the north, fighting some rifles. Pretty much just fights all over the place. Fusiliers on the field now for Angreifen, building himself a Raketenwerfer just to have something else on the field. Rifle squad, though, taking quite a beating here, down to one man. Could be taken out, though, as it has to run through a Volksgrenadier squad and the artillery, not the artillery field officer, it's just the Sturm officer. And it does. It gets executed, hits the snow, and crumples into a bloody mess. So Jove now losing that squad. Definitely hurts, but not too much still. It's only one loss, but right now Angreifen feeling rather confident. We do see some sandbags getting laid down by Jove as he starts capturing territory. That is, of course, one of the perks of the Doctrine. It gives you the ability for rifleman defensive structures, which gives them mines, fighting positions, and sandbags. So you can do the whole little already pretty much standard maneuver that most players do, and that is to lay down a sandbag or some type of cover, or maybe even just wire, while you capture a point on a post. You know, may as well just fortify it as much as you can so that you have a better chance of fighting in that area the next time. You just have to be a little bit smart about it and position it in a way that your opponent cannot use it optimally against you. So for example here, the cover can provide some little green cover in this direction, but it's really only like 1 or 2 entities at most. And if they're positioned that way, you know, you can easily come up on the flank, so you know, it is a lot easier for you to utilize it. Anyways, Jove getting himself that steward. Pretty standard there. Really the reason you would go for the captain early on, because you want to get an early steward, and we see it 8 minutes into the game. That is pretty early. And yeah, having a little bit of an impact, forcing a couple squads, including the officer, to retreat. Fusiliers as well. We do have some Volksgrens around with Shreks, so they are able to fight back against that steward, so it doesn't have this completely free reign across the battlefield. But for the most part, though, it does, as we see this other Volksgren squad that does not have a Shrek and get caught by the steward, quickly forced to retreat, and will be forced to run away. Should be able to make it out of there just fine. Going to take some additional shots along the way, maybe losing 1 or 2 members at most, but it'll make it out of there just fine. Yeah, that last shot didn't hit anything, so 3 members remain. No big deal. Everybody makes it home. So for now, we see Jove just recovering as much territory as he can, utilizing that pack howitzer to provide support and capture territory at the same time. Kubelwagen backing up, Raketenwerfer popping into the house. Not a bad decision considering that steward nearby. And Stonepile is moving up to try and provide some additional support. Up in the north, Rifle Squad and the captain moving around to try and cap. We do see a Volksgrenadier squad with a Shrek inside that house. The steward will have a very, very difficult time doing anything against that. I mean, if he actually does go against that and stays there, it dies. So, you know, I'm assuming it's not going to. But we do see Angreifen managing to utilize this little opportunity here in the center while he's not being assaulted or anything to build himself the Schwerpanzer headquarters. Now, we have seen in the past a failure in building the Schwerpanzer headquarters or getting it operational, basically costing the game to a couple players. So, you know, hopefully here for Angreifen, he's able to set it up. And it looks like it's going to be able to come up on time. It is about to be finished, and there's a lot of troops in all directions and all the way able to provide some additional support. So down south, Rifles trying to move along. There's 3 units in total moving towards it, although the Volksgrens did stop a little bit short. We do have the officer, though, and the Fusiliers in front of it. Officer leading the charge, vaulting over the fence, getting shots flying at the Rifles, down to 2 men, forcing them to get the hell out of Dodge. Fusilier squad retreating. Everybody retreating. Mine getting hit there in the center as a Fusilier just dies. Not sure what the retreat was about there. Yeah, I'm not completely sure. Steward also forcing the retreat here. Oh, I think Yeah, I think I know what to put there. Wait, is that actually the case? No, it's right there. Yeah, he's right there. Okay, so I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, the Shredded Panzer headquarters does get online with no real issues. Now able to cover the center pretty much entirely, and even has half of this point in the south covered, so makes it a little bit more difficult for Jove to pierce through. Does have indirect fire that can continuously bombard it, but that'll more likely than not get it killed. We do see the infantry support gun getting built for Angreifen to have something to combat that pack howitzer. And up in the north, the Kubel wagon forcing away rifle squad is going to get repaired a little bit there. Steward up in the north, fighting against the Shrek Volksgrenadier squad. Takes a shot to the face, getting the damage in there, but with a bar equipped, that actually 2 bars equipped, that rifle squad will quickly do a lot of damage to the Volksgren squad, so it retreats before it gets itself killed. Fusilier, officer, and the Volksgren squad pushing into the center. The captain is nearby. Well, I mean, it is nearby, but it's inside the church. Grenade flies into the church, bursting into flames. Captain is forced to pop out, and we see the squad chasing it down. Nothing nearby to stop them. We do see rifles laying down some sandbags up in the north. And we see a bazooka getting dropped into the world there by the captain, as he is forced to retreat. This rifle squad, though, does get focused there by the officer, which, like it says, makes them more susceptible to damage, but allows them to actually, you know, do more damage. One of these squads managed to get the bazooka, and it looks like it's the rifle squad as it runs away with a bazooka in tow. Steward, though, pushing forward, getting some damage in there, forcing all the squads to retreat, and they're moving back to base. Storm piles up in the north, trying to sweep some mines. Gonna get assaulted by the rifles with those bars, so they'll shortly be made to get the hell out of there. AT gun getting built for Jove. See the Kubel wagon trying to fight against this rear echelon squad. The infantry support gun, though, being the real damaging effect here, getting some shots flying at that rear echelon squad. Could potentially kill it in one hit if it manages to impact, but thankfully for the rear echelon squad, it impacted on the tractor, the second to last hit there, and only managed to kill one rather than the entire squad. Steward up in the north, popping out its crew, getting some quick repairs going. Center map, captain going to be moving back into the church. And the Shredded Panzer headquarters has taken a little bit of damage, but it's actually quite fine, so shouldn't be too big a deal. Officer and Fusiliers moving up to the north. Rifle squad retreating. The infantry support gun is sitting here in the center. The pack howitzer is up here in the north. And we hear the Kubel wagon be, wait, it's not a fire pit. Ooh, that's a fire pit. Pretty sure that's a Kubel wagon since it's dead, but didn't know. What's the fire pit? Anyways, so yeah, up in the north we see a big push here by Angreifen as the pack howitzer does get cleared out. We see the steward running all the way back to the edge of the map, trying to keep itself alive, and it does manage to do so. Shrek's flying from the Volksgrenadier is going to be trying to take out the pack howitzer. However, the steward comes back into play. We see Fusiliers coming up behind the rifles. The rifles trying to take out the Volksgrenadier squad. Volksgrenadier squad down to one man. Going to be taken out here as Angreifen gets a little bit too greedy here, trying to either kill the pack howitzer weapon itself or the steward. The steward caught in a bit of a death corner there, unable to move anywhere as it moves closer into the as it would move closer to the enemy. Fusiliers do have access to anti-tank rifle grenades, so they're still able to damage it. However, at this point, they're not going to be able to kill it, so Jove manages to basically hold strong and keep his units alive. He did lose that pack howitzer, but ends up recovering it, so no big deal. And for Angreifen, he did end up losing one of his Volksgren squads with a Shrek. Like I said, because he got a little bit too greedy, tunnel vision goes goes into effect that you think, I can probably get this shot and kill it. And most of the times you probably can't, and you don't. So back at the warfare, and storm piles moving down south. We do see some mines again getting laid down. Both players doing a decent job of countering each other's mines. We have sweepers here on the rear echelon squad, these storm piles as well, so Yawning. Makes it a little bit harder. Rangers do hit the field. We see the Thompson submachine guns getting upgraded rather quickly. It is 4 to the 5-man squad, so pretty much everybody is able to. And as soon as somebody dies, they get an... What the hell? Somebody tossing planks of wood as artillery and hit the enemy. I mean, to be fair, that'd be pretty damaging. Getting hit by a flying 2x2, you know, would hurt. Anyways, Volksgrens moving up north. Stewart trying to provide support. Rifles trying to hold the line against them. Not going to be able to do too much as they'll just get themselves torn apart. Treks flying at the Stewart. The Stewart trying to move back. Volksgrenadier is going to be trying to cut it off. Shots flying. Good hit. Another shot can actually fly here. Nope. Just to move out of the way. Stewart once again going to be caught there, although it looks like it is moving itself into a better position this time and not going to be forced into a corner where it would cower. So it manages to make it back into base, and with that it should be able to stay alive. There is, of course, a bit of a gap there, which is kind of dangerous, but should be fine. So PanzerGrenadier does end up going for his... Why did I say PanzerGrenadier? Angreifen. Does go for a Panzer IV. Panzer IV on the field, providing some additional support here in the south. Do have a lot of troops, including the captain nearby. The captain, though, has reduced its anti-tank firepower because it did lose that one bazooka. In replacement, though, he should simply get Sagaran. So, you know, a little bit more anti-infantry there. And up in the north, we see a Volksgren retreating. The officer moving around, going into the center. Have the pack howitzer taking some shots up into the north. As the Volksgren squad captured the point. Going to be moving back. Victory points 433 to 367. Currently in the lead for Angreifen. Not 100 points just yet, but, you know, slowly ticking its way there. Nice shot flying up in the north from the Stewart. Gets a good hit there on the Volksgrenadier squad. Forces it to retreat. And is... also going to be forcing the retreat here of the Raktenwerfer. Rangers with their SMGs pushing forward with their Tommy guns down south. Storm Pios, Captain, things just moving around back and forth. Panzer IV moving itself up to the north. Not a lot of a position here. The what happened to the AT gun here for Jove? I mean, nobody took it. Did he cancel it? There's a pack howitzer there. I guess I'll double check if it actually got built or got cancelled. If nothing came up, I suppose it got cancelled, so. Because now it's getting built. But I don't know if it's getting built because it's being replaced or because he never built it. I'm going to assume he never built it, but, you know. I should stop talking about it because, like I said, I'm just going to look it up. And if it was there and it got killed, you probably already saw it. If not, nothing happened. So, yeah. If you didn't see anything, nothing happened. You didn't see nothing. Anyway, so down south, we have the Stewart still moving around. A lot of veterancy there on that vehicle crew. They do get veterancy very quickly due to the way the damage is applied for the Stewart. Sorry. Wow, sorry. And up in the center, the captain trying to hold the line here against that Panzer IV. We do have some mines right there in the center. Panzer IV would have run straight into it, except for Angreifen being a wizard there. Storm Piles with their sweepers pushing forward, making sure to reveal any hidden mines, managing to reveal that mine up in the north. Going to be moving south, and everybody forced to retreat. Ooh, the Fusilier is going to run into the... No, never mind. So, because the Storm Piles revealed it there at the last second, it manages to avoid the impact. So, bit of a lucky there for Angreifen. Up in the north, rifles moving all together, AT gun moving around to provide a little bit of support. A little bit risky there, having the AT gun that far out there in the north, because that one isn't a Raktenwerfer. It doesn't have retreat capabilities, so could easily get caught there in the open and cleared out. But we'll see what happens. Incendiary grenade tossed there in the snow and the brush. The Rangers quickly forcing the retreat of all these squads as their SMGs, their Tommy guns at close range, which just tear the squads apart. Angreifen knows that, so he doesn't want that to happen. Back in the war for moving up to the front. not able to get a shot off on that Stewart. Stewart moving back. We do see Angreifen building himself the Jagdpanzer coming into the field, anticipating some type of vehicle play, and of course, with the Rangers on the field, he knows, of course, that Jove went for the heavy cavalry company, since it's the only one that has Rangers currently. And so yeah, you can expect a this guy, Pershing, to come out at some point in the game. So not quite there yet, but you know, eventually it'll get to that. So may as well start getting something to cover. A little bit early, but not that big a deal. And of course, it can also help against the Stewart and potentially take that out. Panzer IV moving around the center has taken some damage. It's a little bit of repairs. The Jagdpanzer sitting back at base. We do see a supply half-deck getting built, as Angreifen is going to be getting all the tech, getting himself a mechanized regiment headquarters, apparently up in the north, to secure locations here and get himself a little bit of automated repairs, which are always good. Makes it a lot easier than having to move your small pios from wherever they are to get repairs going. You just simply move something up to the north and no problem.
Command level capabilities ready for deployment.
Weird location though. So far it's just moving it around apparently. The Panzer IV pushing forward. Shots flying from the AT gun, trying to get some damage on the Panzer IV. The Stewart managing to well, stay alive here against the Panzer IV. And the Pack Howitzer taking some shots into the fray there, getting some hits. Panzer IV down to about half health. Then we see the Jagdpanzer moving up to provide an additional amount of support. The AT gun does get cleared out here by the Fusiliers. Panzer IV pushing back, rifles pushing forward. They do have a bazooka there, trying to get some shots going on the Panzer IV. However, they are getting torn apart by the Fusiliers as they do dish out quite a bit of damage. Rifle squad behind them comes up on the flank with their bars and are able to force the retreat of the infantry. The AT gun did get cleared out, but it's right there. Oh, never mind, it got destroyed. So nice little move there by Angreifen, destroying the AT gun and once again forcing Jove to have to spend some resources. He does have enough for it. I mean, he is currently holding the fuel, I suppose, for the Pershing. But he has more than enough. He's more than 100 fuel, so, you know, he could do other stuff with it. And, of course, he has the manpower. Not enough for both, but he doesn't have the command point, so he still has to wait anyway. So, you know, he could do that. Anyways, more Fusiliers coming into play for Angreifen. So, yeah, again, just utilizing those resources, dumping them as much as you can, and, well, basically just getting more threats out onto the field. Fusiliers doing quite a good job here against all the infantry. We got 19 kills on this guy. This one's retreating, so I can't see it. That's the new one. Yeah, only 5, but, you know. Infantry support gun getting caught out in the open there by the rifles. Gonna be forced to back off. That one does not have retreat, so it's a little bit slower there, but should be able to get out of there. Stewart down south, harassing some Volksgrenadiers. We have Veteran C2 and 4 with Treks equipped, so nice little grenade there by Jove. Throws it in the path of the retreating squads. Manages to inflict quite a bit of damage, but squads stay alive. The lead Volksgrenadier squad is down to 2 men. Very close to death, but with the other squad members, the other squad intermingled there with that 2-man squad, makes it a lot more difficult to shoot them, and they manage to make it out of there. Panzer IV moving down south to harass the Panzer headquarters. Going to get some pot shots going there on the Ranger squad as it retreats. Brings it down to 4 men, but stays alive, and Jove finally gets himself those 13 command points and is able to call in the Persian tank. But again, he's now up to 500 manpower and 180 munition. I mean, 180 fuel, so, you know, again, those are resources he could spend. Probably should. It's only at 68 on the pop cap, so doesn't necessarily need to hold against anything. Could tech up, potentially. Get himself a Sherman to provide some support, maybe even a Jackson, something like that. But we'll see. I mean, these are good players. I mean, it's Jove, come on. So we'll see what his plan is, but a little bit awkward right now. So up in the north, the Persian making its appearance, moving up, taking some shots at whatever it can. Fusilier squad moving back. The Yak Panzer setting itself up to stop the approach of the Pershing. The Pershing will not be able to easily combat it. Shots flying from the Yak Panzer. Just hitting the house here. I mean, this isn't really a house. It's just a object on the map. It's not going to get collapsed or anything because it's just there. And the Yak Panzer is just shooting at the house and impacting on it, so not getting itself through. Fusiliers and Volksgrenadiers moving down south. Victory points 381 to 310, so pretty close. Currently on the winning side for Angreifen. And the Steward still harassing down south. Veteran T2 acquired, 18 kills in total. Panzer IV moving up. We're going to be trying to fight that Steward. We'll be able to get a good shot off on it, get some damage, but won't be able to kill it. Rifles with the bazooka here, moving up, getting some damage down the Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV will move out of the way. Up in the north, the Pershing providing some support here as rifle squads are pushing forward. Looks like something may have died here. The Storm Pilot squad died. Okay. Unfortunate there for Angreifen, but he did end up building that mechanized regiment headquarters up in the north, so it's able to provide some repair capabilities. We see the Yak Panzer turning itself around in a weird angle here, exposing its side to the Persian. Manages to take a hit there, but again will be quickly repaired automatically. The officer and Fusiliers moving up to the north. The rifle squad doesn't stand a chance and is forced to retreat. Behind it, though, the other rifle squad is trying to capture that victory point. At the very least, though, it decaps it and slows the bleed, as we see Jove dip under 275 points, which brings him at a 100-point, difference there against Angreifen. Down south, the Steward taking quite a beating, getting some repairs going. And we see a rear echelon squad retreating, as well as the Rangers moving back into a safer location, apparently. Back at base, the ambulance trying to do what it can to heal up everybody, as we see the troops moving back to reinforce. The manpower has been spent at this stage, essentially, so no big deal in that sense. And Fusiliers moving around, going to be trying to recapture that point. Persian did move back all the way to the base, going to get some repairs going on it. And the Persian is the unfortunately, I suppose it was, they said a reason, I forgot about it, but unfortunately, though, the Persian is one of the tanks for the U.S. forces where you can't actually pop out the crew. It needs other things to repair it, so makes it a little bit awkward in the way that it works. We'll see. Anyways, Fusiliers managing to go for the kill on the pack howitzer and the steel as well, so going to be moving that back. And with the support of an infantry support gun and the pack howitzer, it's going to be tough here for Jove to push through. Steward, though, moving up, trying to provide some support here, trying to kill off the Fusiliers maybe, or the stolen pack howitzer. However, it is unable to do so. Panzer IV does move into the way and also try and do some stuff, but nothing really happens. Everybody gets out of there without much of an issue. Ranger squad down south retreating, as we do see Volksgrenadiers and Fusiliers fighting all over the place. The Steward moving down south to provide some support. Volksgrenadiers squad going to be capturing the point, as Angreifen wants to put as much pressure on the victory points as he can. Still bleeding those points down to 250 for Jove, so midway point there. Down south, we see the Pershing moving around, as we see the Steward moving around as well. We do see the Major having been selected or gotten by Jove, so he does have access to additional tech here. Getting more tanks, perhaps. Angreifen is hoarding a little bit of fuel here, so we'll see what his plan is for that. He is at 85 pop cap, so not a lot that he can get, so probably at this point he is going to start floating. At the very least, the fuel. Manpower, maybe not so much considering the infantry he has and having to reinforce it constantly, or we'll see. Pershing getting a good shot flying there at that Yak Panzer, bringing it down to about 75% strength. Yak Panzer getting flanked here by rifles and Ranger squad. Pershing pushing forward, though, only managing to get itself peppered there in the front with a lot of damage. The both tanks here for the Angreifen taking some damage, but moving themselves back into position to get some kills. Storm Pilots closing the distance, getting on top of those Rangers, managing to do quite a bit of damage, bringing them down to one man. They had been focused fire there a little bit more aggressively by everybody. Potentially could have taken out the Rangers. Center map, the Pershing moves up, taking some more damage here, trying to do as much damage as he can, but not really managing to do too much. The Panzer IV and the Yak Panzer still quite healthy at around 75% strength, and the Persian has dropped to less than half, so it needs to be careful. So the Pershing slowly moving back to base. Again, gonna put itself right there in the center. Doesn't need to be at the base because the rear echelons are nearby. It is a 5-man squad, so they'll repair. Yeah, there you go. I was like, what are they doing? And up in the north, the Ranger squad's moving around. Major moving up as well. And Angreifen just setting himself up in the center, managing to be in quite a good position right here. Pershing is on the field, and it hasn't been able to impact too much. I mean, it really only has 4 kills so far, and hasn't been able to kill off any of the armor. So pretty cool. But anyways, storm piles laying down some mines as they can. Rifles pushing forward. They may actually run themselves straight into that mine, it looks like. Yep. Oof. Nasty hit there by the mine, killing 4 of the members, down to 1 man. But with no follow-up, makes it out of there. But it's a painful placement there for a mine. Up in the north, the Major trying to go for the cap of the point. There's nothing nearby to stop it, so it will be able to do that. However, it might actually die there, considering its positioning and everything moving into its direction. The Major may just die here. It's not even being queued up to retreat. So Fusiliers running forward as they do get that option from veterancy. Or is it just... yeah. Well, anyways, regardless. So, yeah, the Major goes down, gets executed there by a bunch of Fusiliers, being followed around by an officer. Pershing moving up. Fusiliers retreating. Really not much they can do. They can throw some rifle grenades at it, but I mean, not really going to do much against Pershing, especially a full health Pershing. Maybe if it was damaged, you could maybe argue that, you know, getting a snare on it could potentially get it killed, but... So Panzer IV moves up, manages to get a good shot there on the side of that Pershing. The Pershing returning fire, taking quite a bit of chunk there off the Panzer IV. However, with the Yak Panzer behind it for support, the Pershing is not in good shape now. The Rangers up in the north trying to push forward, go for some additional points. Not managing to do much, get themselves shot by the Panzer IV and forced to retreat. Second Ranger squad going up for the northern point, will be able to take it. And with the southern one in Jove's possession, he'll be able to extend the game a little bit longer, but starting to add up. I mean, 210. He has brought Angreifen down to 371, so, you know, it's not completely one-sided there, but, you know, it is a significant lead right now that Angreifen has, so he's able to allow that a little bit and then cap a little bit more. The Steward down south, getting shot up there by Volk's Grenadier Squad. Rifle Squad in the way as the Fusiliers are trying to do what they can. This Fusilier Squad does have a Shrek equipped, which is kind of weird. Wait. No, it did. I mean, it's right there, but I guess they can't now. Anyways, Sherman does hit the field here for Jove, but it hits the field straight on just to get itself killed, so that didn't really work out that well. The vehicle crew down south is currently repairing that Steward, as the Yak Panzers just sat in the center there and did quite a bit of damage. Panzer IV up in the north, though, getting caught by the Pershing. Not a lot of support right at the front, though. Behind it, it has, I mean, not really much. So the Pershing is going to be pursuing the Panzer IV. However, the Yak Panzer could be moving up. We see a grenade flying. That's going to be flying. Oof, nasty hit there on the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV loses its main gun. Shots flying there by the Pershing, managing to inflict quite a bit of damage there on the Yak Panzer. However, the Panzer IV puts itself in a weird angle here, a little bit further forward towards the enemy, but just hides itself behind the hedge, which allows Angreifen to keep his Panzer IV alive. And the Pershing is now snared, which means the Yak Panzer can chase it down. However, Pershing is returning fire. Quite a bit of fire here, quite a bit of damage. Manages to cloak itself as the Pershing takes a shot. Misses, and the Yak Panzer, as it vanished in front of it, returns fire, and down goes the Pershing for Jove. Losing the Pershing in that meant the end of the game there for Jove. He did still have his steward, but, you know, come on. And yeah, that was a pretty cool fight there in the center. But yeah. So anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.